is it that people like Don Lemon and the media don't actually want to address the real problems? Because maybe they realize that those real problems are caused by them, i.e. Democrats and liberals who run the cities.
On violence in America's cities, Georgia Governor Brian Kemp calling in the National Guard after 31 people were shot in Atlanta and an 8-year-old girl was killed.
God.
New York City is seeing a spike in crime, shootings up 130% last month.
Shootings was up 130%. 31 people was killed in one city in a weekend. Come on, bro. Come on, man.
Compared to the same time last year. And a shocking video shows a father gunned down crossing the street.
No.
Broad daylight with his 6-year-old daughter as he holds her hand. Mayor Bill de Blasio under pressure to act. The New York Post telling him,
yo, what the hell are we doing, man? What are we doing? What are we doing, man? And this is, honestly, this is, when I see stuff like this, oh my gracious. I don't live in that world, that gang bang gangster world. I don't, nor do I want to. And I know that gangsters don't care about children and people whoever else is around those bullets. Come on, guys. Come on, man. It's a baby girl. A baby girl is around. If this is the world that y'all choose to play in, and dude, around the kids though, I pray baby girl was okay, man. It's what? My father, when I was 8 years old, when I was 5 years old, my father got killed while I was holding his hands. Can you imagine the type of trauma that's going to be on that young lady? Prayerfully, if she didn't die? Come on, man. That's crazy.
to do something. The cover very similar to the 1990s when Mayor David Dinkins experienced a crime wave. All of this happening in the backdrop of the defund the police movement. Relatives of victims of gun violence are saying we need more cops to prevent violence.
We can't take money from the police department. We need the police. You take the police from there and we wind up having less police officers in the street, less detectives. It's not going to work. The crime is going to get worse. If we're going to go after the police officers when they hurt someone that looked like me, we need to go after the people that look like me that hurt people that look like me.
I'm glad he said that. Let's go after everybody who hurt people that look like you. How about that? How about we go after everybody that hurt people? I'm with that plan. It makes absolutely no sense. Defund. You know, I saw that on somebody's t-shirt yesterday. When we were doing the video, I did a video where 100 black people were asked the question, what are white people superior at? And a one young man had on the t-shirt that says defund, disrupt, and dismantle. Don't know what disrupt and dismantle was. I needed more context, but it said defund on his t-shirt. If you go back and look at that video, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. And what? You think less police will decrease crime? Who came up with that dag? Whose idea was that? How high was they? What strain of weed was they smoking and passing around to the entire audience that believed it? Because that's one of them high moments. That's a hot thought right there. You know what to prevent crime? Who want this? You want that? Okay, take that. You know what to prevent crime? If we ain't had no police. Think about it. Think about it. Who the only people that can legally ride around with guns? All right? The police. Who the only people that can legally kill a brother and walk away? What I say is the police. If we get rid of them, no more of that happening. How police gonna kill you if the police ain't there? Defund police. Let me get that back, bro. Like, come on, man. That's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
And CNN's Don Lemon causing controversy for lecturing actor Terry Crews over Black Lives Matter.
I seen this.
Black people need to hold other black people accountable. I said this the same thing. This is the Black America's version of the Me Too movement.
The Black Lives Matter movement was started because it was talking about police brutality. If you want an all Black Lives Matter movement that talks about gun violence in communities, including, black communities, then start that movement with that name. But that's not what Black Lives Matter is about.
I spoke about this at great length in the video that I just now did yesterday of that argument between Don Lemon and Terry Crews. And man, I'm not going to go through the entire thing. I'm just going to say this. I think the movement itself, the Black Lives Matter movement, no longer stands for what it was started for, the whole purpose. But Don Lemon was extremely, and I said this in the other video too. I used to be a fan of Don Lemon. No bull, because the only time I watched news was MSNBC, CNN, and my wife will watch MSNBC, CNN, Fox. She watch everything because she wants to make sure she understands everything. This is me just now starting to want to understand everything, and I'm doing it with the camera on me. So look at me checking out everything, getting offended every daggone day. But Don Lemon was wrong in that because he made it seem like Black Lives Matter movement was only about black people being killed by police. And that right there, it was just so ridiculous. Like, okay, so those are the only black lives that matter. So the ones that we out there taking ourselves, they don't matter. Gotcha, Don. Gotcha.
So we'll get to all of this. Juan, let me start with you. So we have the worst violent crime wave in years, just about days after city officials took $1 billion away from the NYPD to appease some pretty violent people that were outside demanding that $1 billion be cut from the NYPD. And now you have this violent crime. If you think back to the 1990s and how bad it got then and how long it took to get things back to a safe place so that New York City could be that thriving, safe city, what do you think should be done? And if the papers are calling for Mayor de Blasio to try to finally do something, will he listen to those communities that are asking for more police, not fewer?
I think they want better police, Dana. I think that, let's debunk this theory that somehow there's this crime wave going on out there. The reality is crime is down in the top 25 American cities. 5% violent crime is down 2%. But what you have is murder up about 16% in those 25 big American cities.
All right, so what? Okay, I got it. I got you. Crime overall. So there's less people stealing chips out the store, but it's more people killing people. There's less people snatching purses. There's more people killing people. There's less people stealing cars. It's just more people killing people. That's all. There's more people killing people. What?
But note, even as we're talking about that, you should keep in mind that the murder rate that we're experiencing now in a place like New York is the same as it was in 2015. So there's a lot of politics loaded into the way that people are looking at what I see as an explosion in terms of gun violence. And why is that? I think it's, according to the experts, they point at a lot of these gangsters, a lot of these drug dealers, even a surge in terms of domestic violence cases, and it's all really being accelerated by easy access to guns. We're looking at gun violence. So to me, what we have here is a mixed situation, and it comes in the aftermath, of course, of the George Floyd case. But I just really object to the suggestion that the police aren't doing their job, or that somehow, because of increased scrutiny on police after the George Floyd murder, that police are backing off. That police aren't committing these murders that are resulting in the spike. This is black-on-black crime in poor neighborhoods done by hoodlums. And that's why I say, of course, every community wants better policing. But
My man said hoodlums. I haven't heard anybody call somebody a hoodlum in a minute. My gracious, hey, that's a throwback word. Is today Thursday? Throwback Thursday. Today Thursday? No.
And that's why I say, of course, every community wants better policing, but it's not to be somehow used to dilute people who are upset over police brutality in America.
All right, Emily, let me ask you about that, because how do you can't solve other problems in terms of getting, even if you wanted reform or better policing, if you are in the middle of a situation where you have what I'm looking at, like some pretty shocking statistics when it comes to increase in crime.
That's exactly right, Dana. This requires a cohesion that a lot of these big cities are missing to include two really important elements, which are enforcement and follow through. So what does it matter if we call for more cops or we bring in the National Guard to augment local departments if they're not able to make any arrests? Or if they are, but then there isn't a prosecution? Or if there's a prosecution, but there aren't actual deterrent consequences? Or judicial discretion to, say, withhold bail, or to make an exception to a pre-classified nonviolent crime if he or she feels that that situation warrants detainment or extended custody. And all of that falls flat also if state and local leadership aren't engaging in messaging of a zero tolerance for violence and crime, and also support for law enforcement, both conceptual and also for the rank and file. I just see an overarching problem that at every juncture, there's a lack of follow through. And so, of course, it's going to embolden criminal behavior, both at the organized level that Juan mentioned and also the local petty level. And it also stymies then that workable solution that depends on all of those interrelated factors that I just talked about.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Train is like really loud today, and it's early as well. Jesse, down in Georgia, where Brian Kemp, the governor, has just called in the National Guard and a state of emergency in the state, the Democratic Senate candidate, John Ossoff, is calling for gun control, not urging calm in the streets.
Well, just to go back to what Juan said,
I apologize, guys. I just now had a thought. I am literally sitting here at my desk looking at the news. Oh, my gracious. God has a way of informing a brother. He's like, okay, you're not going to do it this way? I got you. You ain't gonna be blind all your leg on life. You're gonna see everything that goes on. And I'm gonna make sure you see it. Don't know how yet, but I'm gonna figure it out because I'm God. I'm God.
crime is flat, but homicides are up. Well, homicide is a crime, Juan, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say that homicide is probably the worst crime there is. So let's just get that straight. The other thing is, everybody with a brain knows that in a violent neighborhood with a lot of drug trafficking, you need a strong police presence, because what the police do, they pull people over and they take illegal guns and narcotics out of the car. They also serve warrants and take dangerous guys off the streets. They use task forces, informants, and undercovers to stop drug and illegal gun trafficking. So when the police pull back, crime surges. It also doesn't help when there's a pandemic that squeezes drug profits and the buy side falls out onto the bottom and prices drop, so people are fighting violently over a smaller piece of the pie. So now you have people fleeing cities because of the pandemic, fleeing cities because of a crime wave, and you're going to have what we saw in Manhattan, which is a gritty, ungovernable city where no one wants to live in because it's a low quality of life. Everybody knows blacks don't hate the police and the police don't hate black people. Yes, there are issues, but we can deal with them through mutual respect.
There's a lot of truth to that. There's a lot of truth to that. Now, don't say everybody knows, bro, that black people don't hate the police and police don't hate black people. Don't say everybody knows, because you're saying it as if it doesn't happen. It does happen. Probably not on such a grandiose scale. We should be talking about defund them all because none of them care. No, I will say a great majority of police care. Then they don't. But it's a big enough number for there to be conversations and people being afraid around this country. We can't just whitewash this conversation or any other conversation by the positivity simply because it's mostly positive. We should not look at the negative at all. Nah, we still got to look at the negative. Why? Because if we don't, we won't know where to what corrections to make. You all say all the time, you learn from your failures. Well, the negative parts, that's the failures. The people who make it into the police department and they still are cowards and they're still racist and they're still just inappropriate and just and bigots and gangsters themselves. Those was failures. Those was failures. We can't just forget about them and sweep them under the rug as if they don't exist. Every single daggone, and I love a good movie with some crooked cops in it. Ooh, but those things ain't made up, man. Life imitates art. Art imitates life. But at the end of the day, you're right though, because even with these bad seeds, these and whatnot, or sour apples or whatever you want to call them, the bad ones that are in the departments, we still need some policing, especially in areas where people are being killed a lot by their own race. Man, that's the fun part that I don't, but we can't sweep stuff under the rug as if it don't exist. That's the only reason why I started talking, okay?
And I don't think it's too late for the president to make a speech on the teleprompter that says, I feel the suffering of certain sections of Black America. I understand that police take a lot of risk when they police these dangerous streets. I support both the Black community and the police community, and I will pour all of the resources of the federal government to help save every single American life, because every single American life is precious, and safety is not a political issue. That could go a long way, and I don't...
That is true. If that is true. Every single life, every single American life is extremely precious. And everyone needs to see that. Everyone. Please get rid of that pain, that darkness that's in your heart, and understand that people want you to do well. People want you to do good. I know some of you probably think you got this job to carry out because you've been wronged. No, you don't have a job to carry out because you've been wronged. You got a job to carry out, God's job. God has a job for you to do. And he don't want you to smite or kill anybody for him. He can do that. God don't need no hitman. God don't need a hitman. And it's for the people that look at God's word in a way that fuels their hatred. Because a lot of these people having people think that they're doing it for Christian purposes. You're not. Not if you're doing God's will, you're not. Doing these daggone heinous crimes you're doing, no, you're not. So, but God, man, everybody is equally important and should be equally loved and cared for in this country, period.
I don't think it's too late for him to deliver a speech like that.
Also, Greg, I did want to get back to this issue of the last night when CNN's Don Lemon had actor Terry Crews on. And you ever have a situation where a guest is invited on, or you've been a guest somewhere and the host won't let you talk? I will stop talking and allow you to talk about what happened last night on CNN.
Well, we didn't show that clip, which was Terry Crews. He's an eloquent person trying to make a very important point, that Black Lives Matter isn't about police brutality. It's about remaking America, because they keep talking about systemic racism without specifics. And what they're trying to tell you is that we need to throw everything out. And I'm not exaggerating this, okay? Their leaders will tell you this, that they want to get rid of capitalism, patriotism, and replace it with identity politics, which pits race versus race. The belief behind that is that we are irredeemable as a country and that we are guilty of deeds of our ancestors. It's incredibly poisonous, but Don Lemon couldn't let Terry make that point. So what he did is he race-splained to Terry Crews. He talked over him and through him because he was terrified the viewers might actually hear the truth, and that he didn't want a black man's voice that wasn't Lemon's. And it's a comparison worth noting. You know, Terry Crews has been around. He played in the NFL. He's an artist. He's an activist. He's an actor. He's got 5 kids. I mean, Lemon is just a media mouthpiece. And if you take the contrast larger, as this violence explodes across the country, and by the way, Juan, nobody is saying here that the cops aren't doing their jobs. We're saying that politicians and leaders aren't letting them do their jobs. It's a very fine detail that you love to gloss over. Back to Terry Crews. Right now, what does Terry Crews care about? He cares about the suffering in his community, the real problems, the black-on-black crime. But Don Lemon is in the media, so what does he care about? Defunding the police, the destroying monuments, perceived racism of products and people. So he's chasing the symbolic crap, and Terry Crews is actually trying to solve the bigger problems. And it makes you wonder, why is it that people like Don Lemon in the media don't actually want to address the real problems? Because maybe they realize that those real problems are caused by them, i.e. Democrats and liberals who run the cities, who put out these policies, who make the police stand back and prevent the police from doing their jobs and helping the people in minority neighborhoods. Maybe that's why Don Lemon doesn't want to talk about it, because it's the cities, Democrat cities, that we're seeing hell unleashed, and he doesn't want to have their viewers to see the truth, and that's why he talked over Terry Crews.
I honestly don't believe it was a Democrat Republican type of thing, but I see what you're saying, because that game is a lot bigger than I know about. That's probably why I don't give it as much credence as most of you give it. So you might be very 1000% correct when you say that Don Lemon was doing that to show people that Democrats care about these onesie twosies topics, but he was really like that type of communication adds fuel to the fire. It pisses people off. If we keep on going down that direction, a war will happen. A war will ensue, and it will be a race war. And the up thing is, there are people in this world who want that. They just they want it. Everybody's feeling superior over the other people, and they want it, and it sucks. It's horrible that people with platforms are willing to be used as mouthpieces to help fuel these things. And if they're doing it ignorantly and they don't know that they're being used as a puppet or as a mouthpiece, and I'm talking to anybody out there that does any form of politics, or you have a huge platform, if you're doing it out of ignorance, then learn yourself something. So you can, once you're well learned, then you need to be more responsible with your platform. Please let me know your side in the comments below. If you have yet to hit that subscribe button, please make sure you do so on your way out the door. Once again, guys, I'm Van, and now we are all the LFR family, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video, hopefully inside the Patreon as well. Y'all have been amazing, man. Thank you so much for clicking play and sitting through this video and others. And if you like, if you haven't checked my playlist yet, maybe you should, because I have some pretty good joints. All right, so I'll see y'all next time. Love y'all. Bye.